let's talk about the SAG-AFTRA. I think this is a big deal because it's the first time since the 1980s that SAG is going on strike. The actors are going on strike. It's the first time since the 1960s that both writers and actors are going on strike at the same time, essentially shutting down Hollywood. Fran Drescher had a amazing speech.
Yeah.
Amazing speech.
She's the
I gotta say.
president of the
She's yes.
of the association.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
good,
I
you
didn't-
have
I
it.
didn't
Yeah,
know
let's-
that.
The Screen
Oh, yeah,
Actors
I gotta-
Guild.
Yeah.
Let's
Big
just
clip
play
right
this
here.
because I think it's really worth
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
listen. This is only like a minute and a half of it, but it's a great minute and a half.
I cannot believe it, quite frankly. How far apart we are on so many things. How they plead poverty, that they're losing money left and right when giving hundreds of millions of dollars to their CEOs. It is disgusting. Shame on them. They stand on the wrong side of history at this very moment. We stand in solidarity, in unprecedented unity. Our union and our sister unions and the unions around the world are standing by us, as well as other labor unions. Because at some point, the jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines and big business. Who cares more about Wall Street than you and your family? Most of Americans don't have more than $500 in an emergency.
Now, to really underline what she's saying here, one of the not one of the SAG negotiator, I don't have his name in front of me, but he also spoke in that same conference. And he gave an example of what the major film studios brought to them in the negotiations when it comes to how they're planning or how they would like to use AI. And they wanted SAG-AFTRA to sign off on this, which obviously this was a non-negotiable thing. But according to the SAG negotiator, the movie studios brought to them that they want to be able to hire background performers, background actors, for one day, like a 1 day, day rate, scan them, and then use their likeness and image in perpetuity, no extra money, to just insert them in, as background actors in any project they work on thereon into the future.
Seen it on Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah,
That
I was thinking about
episode-
this happening as soon as I saw that
right.
two characters from Star Wars, what is it, Luke and Leia, they're starting to use AI-generated voice versions and images of them. I'm like, is that what it's going to be in the future? If you happen to be a Star Wars character like Luke Skywalker, can you in perpetuity be recreated because Disney owns the character, even though it's you as a human who plays that character? Like, is that going to be a problem? And apparently it is something they're like discussing now.
Right. Well, it's even worse. I think this scenario is even worse because at least those actors have, they're well into their career. They have fame and connections and legal representation, and I'm sure they work out or will work out or can work out deals for themselves if it does end up in that way. But in terms of like them directly going for background actors, those are usually.
I had that job.
talent,
It's hard
just
as fuck.
starting-
It's really hard.
Yeah,
It sucks.
just starting
It
in their
sucks.
career, working like 12-hour days, not getting
longer.
a lot
Longer
of money.
12
They don't
hours.
even get to. They don't even get to take part in the craft services there because
No,
they're
and you would
usually
see all the other people eating the catered food, and you'd get this big lunch with Wonder Bread and like a piece of salami. It was so depressing.
Yeah, so they basically want to take advantage of those people who are starting in their career and
Yeah.
have no choice because you need to do the background work if you even want to get enough credits to even be eligible for SAG.
It used to be hard work. It used to be like a big deal when you get, when you're credible for SAG. But it's interesting because this whole thing that they're talking about where the money is going and how they're underpaying the actors and how they have to do six jobs to really essentially get nothing. They're poor. I have a friend who is out there holding up, some signs, and I was talking to her, and I know the struggle that she's been going through for years. She's in commercials, she's in movies, she's in all of that, and she gets paid nothing. She can't even pay rent. She lives in LA. She started out sleeping on people's couch. She just got off the couch and got into a room to at least be able to rent. She can't afford really a vehicle. She had to get it from a junkyard, and that's a big deal for her. But she's been in huge commercials, huge movies, and she gets paid nothing. But to know about the AI side of it is very interesting. Just when that Black Mirror season came out just recently, hearing about this and seeing it on that, what is it, Jonas Awful episode,
Mhm.
and they literally was talking about how they were using, what's her name, Selma Hayek, like,
Mm.
and how she had no control over them using her face in everything in that girl's life. And the girl didn't know, that the young woman didn't know that they had control over her from AI, and they were just like, it's terrible that even the actors that were the seasoned actors that we know are getting dubbed in this whole thing too when it comes to AI. So it's troublesome to see, but I'm glad that people are out there fighting this right now. It was funny because I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about it, but Kev on stage and I think Danny B, they were confused. They were like, okay, so now are we all in this together? Because I want to know where I'm supposed to meet at. Nobody gave me a call. Nobody sent me an email. So some of the Black folks are trying to say, okay, so are we going? Where are we meeting? How come I didn't get this email? But it is definitely a thing that's happening, and it's sad.
I sent a video to the group chat that y'all should play. It's Brandy Evans and one of the stars of a show called P Valley, where she shows like her residuals. Because I think why the writers and the actors are really at a disadvantage in terms of public opinion. Because I think there aren't a lot of people like really looking in to the details, and there's an assumption that comes with Hollywood and entertainment and famous. Like there's just assumption that people make a lot of money, and so people just are unsympathetic because they just don't have the reality of what these people actually are making, and they're not being paid commensurate to what is being earned by these studios. So I think this video is really helpful to that point.
Play. What's up, y'all? So I just walked in the house. I ain't even taken off my bag yet because I was like, are those 3 SAG after checks on my table? Let me open them up. It's my birthday week, my birthday Friday. So I was like, perfect timing. Let me show y'all what they got me, okay? That's the first check.
Oh my God.
That's the second check. And that's the third check.
Oh my God.
0.01.
Jesus.
Wow.
1 cent.
1 cent.
Unbelievable.
We don't even have those in Canada anymore. They got rid of the 1 cent pennies.
Yeah, they got rid of the cents.
We don't know what that currency
That's
is.
insane. Wow.
Wow. Do we know, does anyone know the list of demands? Because I saw the ridiculous, like mind-blowing headline about Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, who was saying that all of their demands are unreasonable, is the word that I think he used.
Right. I
when
think
he
it
makes
was no more
27
Marvel
million a
movies, no more
year.
Star Wars movies, no more.
How will we survive? There's not enough already.
It's just so ridiculous. Yeah, I did not know about this, and this has been really eye-opening for me because you would assume that if you are the writer or the actor for these shows or commercials, that you've made it. Like you're making bank, you can survive. But the fact that they are making, I mean, effectively less than minimum wage, I mean, it's so shocking. So yeah, very dystopian, and the AI element really adds to this whole Black Mirror feeling.
You have no control over yourself these days, and then they want to make you feel bad, like, listen, you are on television, that's good enough. I mean, we've got you. That's kind of like, oh, you've gotten the dream, like you've gotten that gig. And I used to think that was enough too, until my friends started telling me, girl, yeah, you saw me in that MLB commercial, I sure was in it, but I got nothing for it. It's doing nothing for me. Everybody's seeing me all over the world, but I can't eat. I can't, like, I really don't have a place to sleep. And so it's super sad to see that they can take your likeliness, though. They can utilize it. They can, and then as Fran, who I didn't know was the president, which is interesting, as she was saying, the CEOs are taking the money and getting paid and doing whatever they want, but the people who are helping to fund the CEOs, helping you guys gain money, get money, they aren't worth anything. Like, that's so sad to see the P Valley actor getting 1 cent. One
Don't even
cent.
get me started on them all being snubbed for Emmys.
Yep, yep, that too.
I'm very.
All that
I think.
work.
Yeah, I think our society in general. I think there is I don't think. I think there's a disconnect of people's understanding between visibility, fame, and money and riches. Because I think there is a people think, oh, I see you a lot. If I'm seeing you, so you're famous, so you're
Must be
rich, with
rich.
no
Yeah.
concept of, even if they don't even know where that money would come from, right? Like when people think, oh, you're Twitter famous, so you must have bread. And it's like, logistically, where's the monetization?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think there's that disconnect there, and I think that is harming the writers and the actors when it comes to this particular thing.
And
Yeah.
I remember
to
when
your
I was a
point,
kid, I
okay.
thought whenever I saw someone on TV or in movies, I was like, oh, they gotta be rich. You know, you just automatically think, like, even like
Yeah.
the background actor who says like, "Excuse me, sir," as he bumps into the main character.
Yeah.
I would assume like, oh, that guy's a millionaire. No, most of these people are not even, are like barely making it every year. Like,
Mhm.
unless you're the big A-list Hollywood star, you're just, you know, getting by.
So I work
Yeah, which is good
professionally
to
in the
remind
film
people in this.
industry.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I work professionally in the film industry on both ends. So I started out doing like extra work and being a PA and stuff like that. But I also eventually rose to the ranks of being a professional editor, special effects supervisor, and then did digital distribution. So I saw what it's like to be on the executive producer side. Everyone gets fucked over all the way on down. Like anyone who's got this weird idea that like Hollywood liberals are bourgeois parasites and all this kind of stuff, they're not. People are fucking struggling to make ends meet in a lot of cases, especially like writers. Like you get your one break if you get a regular gig where you're working on staff in a TV show, and that's going to last you 1 to 2 years as long as the show doesn't get canceled. And then after that, you're once again left to try and find that next big paycheck. Like there's very few people who go writer and then director, then Spielberg. Like that's like, you know, there's literally just 1 or 2 of those kind of people. The rest of them, everyone is working their asses off and getting nothing for it.
Yeah, I mean that's another great point to really like hone in on there. Like this isn't like, you know, you get a job and there's a steady paycheck that you could spend years and years at this job, and if you got laid off, maybe there is severance pay or something like that. They're just, the project is over. That's it. Move on to the next project, and you got to spend the time to find that project, and also then work it out with your schedule. Oh, you can't take a project that's going to overlap with the final week of the project you're leaving. You know, it's a hard line of work.
So I would say, like, you know, I'm happy to see a lot of them out there, or a lot, they're standing up. A lot of them, I think it was from the recent award show. They walked out some of the actors walked out.
The Oppenheimer premiere, like the premiere of Oppenheimer,
Mhm.
all the
Yeah.
actors walked off and went right to the picket
They're
line.
just-
That's so awesome, so
Exactly.
metal. Yeah, good for
And
you.
I thought that was that was a message that was heard. So I want to see how this is gonna impact, I guess, the acting world and what it's gonna do. This is our first, I guess, official day really seeing it out there. I've been seeing them talk about that, but I see it more in the media now. The writers, we saw how much that, you know, we saw how much that was impacted. And I mean, I don't know if anything has changed since, but the people who are willing to take up, you know, the front lines on this, I wonder how that will affect them. And I'm talking about the major actors who are willing to probably take pay cuts, you know, drop some projects coming up or whatever, just to be an ally to the people who are really getting hit the hardest when it comes to this.
Yeah, that's a great point. That these people are like, this really is about the vast majority of the actors that are not making a lot of money, and because you know whether it's conservative arguments or the way the CEO is going to try to frame this, they're going to try to frame it like, oh, these Hollywood celebrities want everything, and it's not about them. It's about the entire industry
Clean
and
up
how
your room.
everybody's being screwed, while these CEOs are worth billions of dollars. So to be able to recenter that conversation on what this is actually about, I think is very important. And Fran Drescher in that full speech, I mean, she connects it to the larger labor movement, how CEOs generally are screwing over workers. It's really good to see workers like this that are more prominent because of their status stand up with everyday labor.
And I saw a great point too from I think it was Francesca Ramsey on Twitter, where
Yes, it was. I was actually just about to
I
suggest
love
we have
her.
Francesca on
oh,
and then
okay,
talk to her
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Do you want to mention it, or do you want me to go ahead?
No, you talk.
Okay.
I just said we should have Francesca.
Oh no, I thought you were. I thought you brought up. I'm sorry. I thought you knew what I was going to bring up. Right. So she posted how, like, sort of a PSA, I guess, for like online influencers and content creators, which is this is 100% going to happen, and I think it's great that she got ahead of this. The studios are going to use this opportunity to lure in content creators and influencers to be scabs. They're gonna say, "Oh, here's your big chance. We're gonna, let's look at that script or that treatment you've been
streamers too?
preparing.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at your stuff. Don't accept it. Don't be a scab, because A, it's fucked up to do, but B, your career, once this strike is over, will be over as well, because the writers and the actors who are part of the unions will not want to work with you because you were a scab. Don't do it. Don't do it. For
Even
both
streamers?
selfish reasons and
What about Twitch
for
streamers?
the right reasons. What?
I seen Ashley Ray make a good point about this. Ashley Ray about that same thing. She said, I'm curious about how many content creators really care about joining SAG after, because I think the punishment is what they put out is if you do it, you won't be able to join SAG later at a later date if you go in now to the content creators, right? To discourage them from doing that. And so Ashley Ray said, I'm curious how many content creators really care about joining SAG. Like, obviously, a lot of them want to be actors eventually, but a lot of content creators or influencers or people with a niche gimmick who just want to do that. I don't know. I feel like the content creator, influencer to actor pipeline isn't as strong as it used to be. I feel like most of them don't want to be actors. They want TikTok ad money for rolling a bottle down some stairs. A show that'll probably come up to you this fall on Fox. Seems like the content creator vibe now is more I want to be an influencer. I want brand deals, not I want to be an actor. So what y'all think about that?
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely, I would say the overlap is probably more so with writers. Actually, I think you're absolutely right on about, like, there's a lot of people who aspire to be, screenwriters and TV writers in the writers' room, and they put out a lot of web content, funny videos and stuff. But I think about, like, when it comes to actors, I think that's right. I think a lot of these content creators now view themselves as like, no, the end game is just like being a really big YouTuber. It's not like crossing over to Hollywood or TV or something.
Too much to type said something. It's funny, and I feel like the content creators, who have been dying for these opportunities to get in and just be seen or be in a commercial. He was like, you'll even get your name in the end credits, like the 4,332nd person, but you'll see your name, and that's kind of what they're okay with as long as they got in. And it does suck, because I feel like a lot of these other, like, we see how music has become, and we see all of that, and what they'll do is throw these little things in front of these content creators' face. Some of them that have been dying not to be doing funny jokes and funny videos online, but to be a singer. And they'll be like, you know what, Capitol Records has tapped on my shoulder, like, let me just hop in. And they're paying them nada, nothing, all that money that they think is such a big deal that they could actually be getting. They're just accepting it just to say, I signed a deal. And so some of these people on the outside, where they're going to be like, yeah, let those actors go outside and, hold their signs up or whatever. We're going to go get these people, and they are going to take advantage of them like nobody's business. But they're going to say, I'm a part of SAG. I'm a part, and that's it. I'm a part of it. And that's going to be the biggest deal to them. It's sad. It is.
Yeah.
It also kind of puts into perspective, too, the fact that, like, a lot of this has to do with the fact that we transitioned to streaming. I don't know if everyone realizes that, but that's also what prompted a lot of the writer strikes, is that as all these shows start to become available on streaming platforms and we start just, like, mass producing content, just content farms, how much are they adopting AI? Is AI helping them to write? Do they have, like, AI writing entire scripts and then human beings kind of look through those and they fire 100 people to replace that? How much money does every person get when you take your TV show and move it from one streaming service to another? Do the writers make any money? Do the actors make any money? Does anyone else make money besides the executive producers? The answer is usually no. It's like the distribution company or the execs, but those are the people who are making endless amounts of cash and, not having to put in the labor.
Do you guys use AI at any time? Like, have you?
Oh, I play with AI all the time. I think it's hilarious.
I've been using it for my videos.
I'm against it.
Are you using it for videos?
Not in any capacity. I'm against it.
See, I've been
I
using it for B-roll for my videos because I'll cover like a really obscure story about somebody and there's no pictures of them or any good pictures. And so I'll go to Dolly and like generate some sort of a picture. Like I did a story on the Michigan hair salon owner who decided to disallow trans people. And I
Oh,
couldn't find a good picture of her, or I couldn't find any like generic stock images of just a hair salon person that looked like this lady. So I went on and I typed in angry white lady with in hair salon, and and it we used it for like the text to make it a little bit more interesting. But that's the only capacity. Like I'm kind of just playing around with it.
I
that's
think
fake
it's
news.
dangerous in a way. I think it is dangerous.
Mm.
The
I'm
most
so
recent thing
happy
that I've
you are
seen with
doing a
AI is
benefit
this
event
whole
for the
thing with
Rainbow Railroad.
Rimini or
There's a
these
lot of us
babies.
who are going to need their help.
And when I
Thanks.
first seen it, my sister sent me. She's like, "Girl, does the baby look like me?" First of all, why does this baby look? I don't like
Racially
the outfit on the
ambiguous.
baby. It's a baby and it's giving me sexualized child. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But that's neither here or there. It might be everywhere. I'm not sure where I am with that, but it's very unpleasant to see what they're doing with AI. And they're not, they used to be able to, you used to be able to look at the AI and say, okay, it has an extra finger, or there's something like to know that it's AI. Now they're not even trying to change that up for you to know if it's AI or not. So a lot of misinformation and mischaracterization, a lot of that has been going on. And then people using people's voices, it's crazy
Mm.
to me. You would think a Haitian. I don't know if this is true or not, but there was a story about a Haitian artist who just came out saying he had a feature with damn, what's his name? I forgot his name. Kendrick Lamar.
Mm.
And everybody was like, boy, please. And they were saying it was an AI because we didn't hear or know. Kendrick Lamar did not post anything on his page. There was nothing coming. It was so people are using AI to say that they've partnered with artists, things like
Oh my
that,
god.
using people's likeness. It's
Wow.
crazy. And so I feel like this can get a lot of people in trouble. We
Mhm.
already know how white folks like to lie. No offense. We already know how they like to lie to police officers. And I don't want that kind of thing to happen with like people saying that wasn't me. And then people can create some stories up. I don't know. I just think it's really dangerous. Granted, I ain't gonna lie. I had asked one of the AI apps something. And the answer that it gave was incredible. Like it gave a business
Mm.
plan. It gave all of that. It was freaky, but it was also like, dang, that's really good. Like that is very insightful. It's very helpful, but I would rather, I don't know. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
It's
You don't have
dystopian
to
and the
say.
implications are very scary, especially for us, like as public people. Like they could take our voices and they can take our images and likeness and they can use that to get us to say something we didn't say.
I've already seen fake
Politics
podcasts
wise.
of I've already seen fake podcasts of like other podcasts, and they use the
Hmm.
voices of each of the people, and you can tell it's not them, but it's convincing enough. It's more of like it's more funny. Like they aren't trying to
Hmm.
be like this is what they actually said.
Yeah.
But it can get to a point where it could be like they said this thing. Look at this image or look at this video,
I'm
and
sure you'll
that's
see it
just
happen.
AI. Oh, I'm for
Yeah,
sure. It's probably
Yeah,
happening.
absolutely.
I think
Mhm.
it's fine when used creatively, where it's clear that it's like those funny videos of like Biden and Trump talking to each other
Those
or
are
singing a
humorous.
Oh.
song
Yeah.
Playing
together.
Fortnite.
Like
They're
like
ridiculous,
those
but
very like these are very
yeah.
specific examples. Like that's what it should be for. Like fun stuff where they make it very clear this is not what it is. And there's no monetization of it, like using someone's voice who's a big artist in a song that you made, because I think that's messed up too.
I don't know.
You know,
You shouldn't be
but
able to invade
otherwise,
people's space.
I I
but
think the
otherwise it's
problem
messed
with
up.
I'm against it all together just because the problem is you can't put the genie back in the box. Like
Mm.
saying, all these different circumstances when, oh yeah, it would be okay or it's ethical here, that but regardless, just having the
Mhm.
tool, you see what's gonna happen. They're gonna use it to exploit people. It's gonna become a tool. You see it. They're literally already doing it. And that's what I knew from the beginning. They were gonna use it to cut people out. These industries have already become these were
Yeah.
already like historically exploitative industries. They always were. And they've gotten more of that with streaming and this and all these different advents. But you throw AI into it, yeah, I've thought it was bad from the beginning. That's why I've never participated in a single of these trends, and not debate me, not that none of it,
Mm.
none of them
The
pitches,
pregnant
none of it,
people, the people getting
none of
married.
it.
It's ridiculous. And I think it also adds somebody had posted I guess one of them that make the guys look a little stronger. And the guy that posted it is naturally overweight. I would say that. Like, he's naturally a bigger guy. And so when he posted it, so many people, and he's very popular in the what we call the Haitian music industry. And when he posted it, people were saying, maybe if you try hard enough, you can look like this. Maybe if you, so he posted and he said, you know what, I posted this to be funny, but now like I'm feeling away, like I'm feeling a little hurt.
Mm.
Like people are coming at me with these comments, and I thought I would post this to be funny, but don't worry. And then he got a little defensive, but don't worry, in 2026 I'm gonna be healthy. And it just, I don't know, it just got a little, you can stop using it. Like I just, it gets crazy. I don't like it. The kids using people's kids' face, because that's what AI essentially is. It's, where do you think they're getting these pictures, right? Where do you think they're getting? It's somebody's likeliness. It's somebody's kid's likeliness. It's somebody's. I don't. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just to put a pin on the actors thing, which also does include AI, as Lance said earlier. So just to be clear on the issues, the strike included increased pay as well as progress on residuals, particularly on streaming services.
Right. The
and also
streaming thing's a
concerns
big deal that
about,
we didn't
yeah.
really. The streaming thing's a big deal we didn't really talk too much about, and that's basically two things here. Where one, streaming has obviously completely changed how royalties work. Usually you'd make a show, it would go into syndication, and you'd make a lot of money from syndication. That's not a thing anymore. These shows are now on streaming services where people watch them when they want, so it's not quite the same, dynamic. But the studios never updated their plan on how to pay people royalties and residuals based on this new model, and they're trying to get away with keeping it that way. And then that brings us to the second thing there, where now in order to not pay royalties and residuals where they do have to, when they these shows and movies are on streaming services, they now just completely remove them altogether, thus taking someone's body of work out of public view completely. Like, it's not like, oh, your TV show or your movie isn't getting picked up by the networks, but DVD sales, VHS sales, whatever sales, that's where you'll make money. That doesn't really exist now anymore. Everything goes directly to streaming, and to save money on paying people and to use on paper failures, Hollywood will just pull a movie or a TV show completely, so they don't pay out any of that. And then that actor or director or writer or whomever has no recent body of work to show people when they're trying to get that next job, because the studios completely removed it from existence with no way to get a hold of a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine spending like a year of your life creating something. It goes up online for like a couple of weeks. And then the studio decides we're going to pull it down so we don't have to send any money to anyone involved with this anymore. And you don't even have the ability to like show people the work you just spent the year on. It's like a huge gap in your resume.
And all they have to go off of is, I was there. I was working for this company. I was, just go ahead and lie on that resume, sis. Just lie. Just lie. I mean, it's really the truth, but but it's unfortunate how this is all about to go down, and this is just the beginning. So I see, hopefully, as far as for the people who are fighting for a change, something does change, but I'm just not sure how long it will be for them, because some people are really taking a pay cut and trying to fight for change, and putting more stress on themselves financially just to try to get some changes. So
which is why it's good that it's the writers and the actors now striking together. Like, this is really going to hopefully put enough pressure on this industry, on these studios to act.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see.
Yeah.
All right,
who's been a scab so far? Can we do a let's call out all the scabs segment? Yeah. Who has scabbed? Who hath scabbed?
Has anyone been a scab yet? I don't think.
I saw someone got falsely scabbed
tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
We will find them.
Isn't Matt Damon getting roasted for something he didn't do? I saw Matt Damon getting dragged, and like it turns out they just hadn't let the clip play out all the way.
All these clips that like Deadline and these other Hollywood rags were posting were so badly clipped. Like, they would basically clip the whole interview, the whole comment, but then in the written description of it, they would just put the first half, and all these writers would basically say something like, Yeah, I hope this doesn't go on for too long, and that's what they would put up there. But then the rest of the comment was,
I
because
support the
people need to get
strikers.
paid, but I
Yeah.
support it 100%. Like, it's
so
because
cruel.
that's who these outlets are for, right? It's for the producers and the studios, right? It's not for the actors and the writers. So of course they're going to be on the side of the studios. It's ridiculous. The actors, even the big famous actors, everyone I've seen so far has been incredibly supportive. They're literally in the union. I mean, you can't act in Hollywood if you're not in SAG.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
Thank you kindly to our Lord and Saviors Peyton L. Just and Xander Corvus. Without you, we are nothing. And now, a shout out to our Knights of the Square Table. Amazing Flesh, Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, DM Rivera, Doug Cady, Everything Important, Hegbard Celine, Izzy Solidarity, La Media Panza, Matthew Scarborough, Multimondi, Nettle, Omni, Peanut Butter Blonde, Political Papi, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Kubi, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Demmel, Thomas, Trevbot EXE, Lucidry, Words Greenwood, Cheryl Alvarez, Tony Perkins, Thomas, O'Pecker, Travis McClinton, and Victoria Bell. Thank you so much. And a huge shout out to all the other people who make this entire show possible. Without you, it would not exist. If you can support us, please go to patreon.com/theserfs, and even $1 can help unlock all of the little goodies and help make this show entirely possible.